Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Inspire Freak private coaching recordings for your listening pleasure. This is episode number 2. So, today I want to talk to you about the CBT thought record. Now, the CBT thought record is a tool that you use for you to help you sort out your thoughts and your emotions so that you can take better actions and move forward in your life. And I think it's very important for women who need emotional control, people who are very prone to helping or letting their feelings determine their actions. So and I think it's very important for people who get depressed or down quickly and easily because of the thoughts that they're entertaining in their mind. And the thought record is just a way of journaling that will enable you to sort out things in your mind so that it makes better sense, and so that you replace the negative or the destructive thinking with some positive thoughts and affirmations. So that is why it's very important to do a CBT thought record, and I'm going to teach you how to do it in this episode. Okay. So I'm going to take you through that, and you would actually need a journal in which you could write so that you can see your accumulated thought records, because this thought record is recommended to that you do it for 30 days for you to see optimal results. So just doing one is great, but doing it for 30 days helps you shift your perspectives, and it just really helps you put everything in place in your mind. And it's ideal that you do a thought record on a daily or a weekly basis, just depending on what kind of time you've got for journaling. But as you know, journaling is crucially important for you to sort out what's going on in your mind, to make sure that you know who you are, where you're at, what you stand for, and what you believe. So without any further ado, grab your pen and paper and let's start a thought record. Now, the first thing you're going to ask yourself is, what is a destructive thought that I've been entertaining for a while in my mind? What is something that keeps coming up? Okay. And then you write that down. What are my thoughts? And it doesn't just have to be one. It could be a family of thoughts regarding the same issue. Okay. So what is one destructive or negative thought that I've been harboring in my mind for a while? Okay. I want you to write down the thoughts. Then I need you to write down the emotions or the feelings that you feel when you think this thought. Okay. So let's say you are thinking, I am not enough. I'm never enough. Nothing I do is good enough. I'm not enough. The feelings that you create from that is sadness, and you feel heartbroken, and you feel ashamed or shameful. The feelings that you feel. Okay, you're going to write that down. Then next you're going to write down what is the physical sensations that you're feeling, as in you are feeling you're feeling it at the back of your head, or you're feeling it on your stomach, or you're feeling like a shrinking feeling, or you're feeling your heart paining or something like that. Okay, what is the physical sensations that you're feeling? Then I'm going to ask you, what is the situation regarding this thought? What is creating this thought? What is the circumstances that is making you entertain this thought? So you can tell me if the circumstances regarding this thought is that this is what's been happening recently, and then this triggered it, and this was a response by this person, and then I felt this, or I thought this, and that is how I'm constantly thinking about this thought. Okay, what is the situation or the circumstances around that thought? Okay. Next, we are going to look at what is the consequences if you do not change your thinking. Okay. We all know that when you keep entertaining something negative in your mind, that it grows and it becomes toxic in your brain. So what consequences would there be if you don't change your thinking? The consequences would be, for instance, that if you don't feel like you're enough, then you're going to have maybe a bad self-image about yourself or something like that. So what is the consequences if you don't change this negative thought into a positive thought? Then we're going to go and we're going to challenge your thoughts. Which of those thoughts are facts and which are just your opinion? Is it a fact that a judge and a jury would be able to vote on, that you are not enough? Or is it just your opinion? Is it a fact or opinion? Every thought that you entertain that's negative, ask yourself, is it a fact? Would, in a court of law, would people say that it's a fact, that is true? Or is it just an opinion? Okay, so sift through the thoughts that you've written down and ask yourself, is it a thought or opinion? Then after that, we are going to summarize our negative thinking. Okay, and how we summarize our negative thinking is we're going through a list called your cognitive distortions, and I'm just going to quickly read through them, and you're just going to write down, oh yes, I recognize that I'm filtering, or I recognize that I'm catastrophizing, and this is why I'm filtering, or this is why I'm catastrophizing. So let me read through the list of cognitive distortions for you. First, black or white thinking. Extreme thinking that often leads to extreme emotions and behaviors. When things are either black or white, we're either perfect or we're a complete failure, and there's no middle ground. Number 2, filtering. When we're anxious, we commonly develop tunnel vision where we focus solely on the negative aspects of situations without considering the positive aspects. The whole picture can be colored by a single negative detail. 3. Disqualifying the positive. This involves processing information in a biased way. It is a mental process that changes a positive event into a neutral or negative event in your mind. Number 4. Jumping to conclusions. When you make a negative interpretation or prediction, even when there's no real evidence supporting your conclusion. This sort of thinking is often based on what we think other people feel towards us. Number 5. Emotional reasoning. When a person believes that what they feel must automatically be true, depending heavily on our feelings as a guide very quickly leads us away from the path of reality. Number 6. Rigid rule keeping. When you have a list of rules about how you and other people should behave, those who break the rules make us angry, and if you break the rules, you feel guilty as a result. Number 7. Catastrophizing. Taking a fairly minor negative event and blowing it completely out of proportion, imagining all sorts of disasters resulting from the one small event. Number 8. Overgeneralizing. Based on one instance in the past or present, you make the assumption that in the future all others will follow a similar pattern. A sense of helplessness often accompanies such overgeneralizations. And number 9, labeling. When we label ourselves based on our behavior in specific situations, we define ourselves by one specific behavior, usually a negative behavior, and fail to consider other positive characteristics and actions. So you're going to summarize your negative thinking, going through that list of cognitive distortions and seeing which ones applies to this situation. Then we're going to look at the background. When did you first have this thought? So let's say if we take the example again of not feeling good enough. When did you first have this thought? Go back to your childhood, to your young adulthood. When first did you feel this? Did you entertain this thought in your mind? Where does it stem from? Where does it come from? Okay. And then we're going to do alternative thinking. What would be the most helpful way of thinking? Okay, if you look at that negative thought, if you look at all the negative things you've written down, if you look at how you have been cognitively distorting the reality, what is the most helpful way of thinking? How can we change the negative to a positive thought? Okay. And then what positive belief or affirmation can you use as a trigger to remind what you've learned about yourself now. So for instance, you can use an affirmation, you can use a Bible verse, you can use anything that's a positive thought. So if you think, I'm not enough, if you're a Christian, you can say, He left the 99 for me. Because in the Bible it says, He leaves 99 sheep to find the one that's lost. So for instance, that's what you can use. Or you can use a positive quote that you found on Pinterest, anything that you can use to replace that negative thought that's powerful enough, that's going to trigger and remind you of this thought record that you just did. Okay. And then we're going to write an action plan. Now the action plan, we're going to use our strengths and we're going to ask ourselves, what can we do if this happens again? If I feel this feelings again, if I entertain this thought again, what can I do to remind myself of that trigger, the positive affirmation, the Bible verse, the quote that I'm going to replace the negative thought with? What is the action plan that I can put in place? And then the last thing is, what is the improvement? Do you feel better or more optimistic? And that, my friends, is the CBT thought record. Now, this CBT thought record is so amazing. I've actually used it in my life to cure my depression without medication. I've used it to gain mental and emotional control. There were times in my life where I couldn't even get out of bed. I didn't want to do my makeup. I didn't want to do my hair. I didn't want to take care of my kids. And I was just really in a hole. Okay. So if you feel that way, there is a way that you can change it around. So if you're feeling depressed, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling negative, if you're crying, if you're emotionally out of control, you need to do a thought record. So I need you to go and do this today. Do a thought record today, because just listening to something like this won't help you. It's when you start implementing it into your life where it changes things for you. So just knowledge isn't power. The application of knowledge is power. Okay, my friends, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you have a lovely day. And until the next episode, goodbye.